Hey everybody, I hope y'all can see me. I'm going to have to change the angle of the camera in just a second. This is Jim, the table engineer. Welcome to another live crafting session. You're going to be watching this live or at a later time, but I should apologize. For some reason, I'm having technical difficulties with our cable box today, or the fiber box. So right now, I'm having to do this on Wi-Fi. So I imagine that the video and sound quality may not be all that good, and I apologize. If it becomes a real issue, I will probably close this session down and redo it tomorrow, or push it to Thursday, Friday as well, because I do want you guys to see this, but I also want you to be able to see it clearly and hear it well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you are out there, please say hello in the chat and let me know how the sound and video quality are. I will point the microphone down at me. Bethany says so far so good. Well, that's good to hear because like I said, I'm on Wi-Fi and I was just a little worried, Bethany, it was going to be bad. So not everything is done. Most of the big things are done. I got all of these. Now, because it's pink, I'm looking at the video screen and seeing what you see. It's kind of hard to see a lot of detail because all of the pink sort of blends together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this up and try to point out some key areas that are done and some areas that aren't done. And then I'll explain where we go from here. So as you can see, I've got these pieces, 8 in all. They're glued all the way around in place with the caps on them. I have not done the sides of the staircase yet. That will come probably, I don't know, next session. I wanted to really get painting today, so I'm not gonna worry about this. Hey Ron, hey Bethany. So I'm not gonna worry too much about the sides yet. That's to be done. Now, all of the flooring is done. All the columns are glued in. The flooring has been done up to, the borders of the columns. So that part is done. As you can see, the tops are not done here. I believe what I'm going to do is just another smooth transition. And I'm going to put pieces around it as flashing or decorative elements, but we'll do that in another session. There's going to be probably 1 hour or 1 hour and a half long session, just sort of the cleanup. It'll be where I just tackle all, and it could go 2 hours. It's just going to be where I tackle all the unfinished stuff. And then, of course, whatever's unfinished will get painted. But the tops here haven't been finished. There are a few areas of bricks. I don't know if you can see those holes right there. I could probably do that right now, but I'd rather not waste your time. It's just cutting some small pieces and fitting them in there. I have to do it here, and I have to do it back of the column. As you can see right here, that is exposed with the seams. So I need to do that on both columns. Have to be done. See right here, the backs are right there. The back sides haven't been done. What else? Okay, now once everything is painted, these walls right here, this one and the back side, what I'm going to do is cut some rectangles out of chipboard, and I'm going to paint those up probably in a dirty steel or iron color, and those are going to be glued on with some little, let's see if I've got them here, with these little rings. Actually, the ones I'm using will probably be smaller. These are way too big, but you get the idea. These metal rings. And there's going to be crypts. One here, or one on top, one on bottom, one on top, one on bottom, and then on the flip side. And I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to designate those yet. Maybe I'll put wording on it. I don't know. Maybe a name plate of some sort. What I was thinking about doing, and don't hold me to this, is I've got a group of you guys who are regulars, and I'm just going to call out Bethany and Ron here because they're on live right now. So what I was thinking of doing was like making one of these for all my regates. So I'd have 2, 4, 6. I'd have 8 in all, and I believe there's about 8, maybe less, maybe 6 that are always on live. And what I might do is use your names or some twisted variation of your name as for the nameplate of the crypts or the tombstones or whatever you want to call them. There'll be coverings for the tombs. So, and feel free to, Bethany and Ron, I'll go ahead and extend the invitation. You know what? I'm going to call it. We'll do it. Go ahead and be thinking about what kind of, I don't want to put like Bethany Cowan on there. It would be like Bethanus, Cowanus. That's a joke. Don't do that one. But come up with something that you would like on there. If you have a favorite character that you play, Ron, maybe you want that on here. I will reserve the right to decline if I don't like it. Yeah, see, Ron says Bubba Hotep. Gone. No. I mean, technically I could. Very few people will probably look at it to that detail. So I guess we could go humorous a little bit. But let me tell you something. We are now about 15 hours in. This is about 15 hours worth of work. That's technically not true because I've probably done about 2 to 3 hours offline where you guys weren't seeing it. So let's just say that this so far is about 16 to 18 hours. All right. Painting's going to take a while. I keep always telling myself that I should probably track the time, but it's so hard to do that. What I really need is one of those clocks where you come in the workshop, you go ping, check in, and ping, you check out. But I come and go so much, it's kind of a pain. It's very difficult for me to estimate, how much time I've spent. So these live videos are useful in the sense that they have a definite time stamp on them that I can use. But like I said, I estimate I've spent about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours extra outside of the live videos working on this. Like, for instance, I didn't make you guys look at there were 3, these 1, 2, and 3. I made those offline, so you guys didn't have to. You saw me make this one, and then I made another video back here. So yeah, I should probably count that video in, but oh well. Anyway, let me see what your comments are. Dungeon Diva Bethany. Paint, says Eric. All right, that's my forum name for almost all the forums I'm in. Okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do today. First thing I'm going to do is get on my, I have a smock because, this is going to get messy, and I just dropped a whole bunch of stuff. So I have this nice smock that my wife got me from, I forget, working store, Rockler, that was it. There's a woodworking store in Atlanta called Rockler, and I do love woodworking. I just don't get to do it anymore. But my dad is a big woodworker, and I think he missed his calling as a carpenter. But he taught my brother and I all kinds of stuff. And at one point, I thought I would like to have been a carpenter, but didn't work out. But anyway, they make these really nice aprons, woodworking, and for painting so that you don't get paint all over your clothes. All right, so Bethany, my last bottle of Folk Art Black. I've been saving it. I think I ordered another one from Bethany. If you were looking, this is my commercial for the episode. If you were looking for a good black paint, Folk Art, just called black. It doesn't even have a name on it. No, it does not. It just says, doesn't even have black on the description, but you can tell it's black. This stuff, hands down, you'll see why. It goes on in one coat over pink foam, solid. You do not have to do a second coat. Now, sometimes you want to, but I'm hoping that I won't have to do a second coat. Because this stuff is that good. I've got this. Oh, I hate to show this. The Craft Smart Black. It's good. It's cheap. It's as cheap as they get. And usually it's a little watery, and you definitely have to put on more than one coat. So promotion, Bethany, order from Bethany, and she can get these bigger bottles instead of the smaller kind. Like, all right. So here's what I'm going to do. Because there are so many gaps in this terrain here. Let me see if I can show you a few. There are a few areas that there's no foam. Like, can you see that right here? That's just blank. Right there, that little gap, blank. There are places where I did not glue any foam in. So I've got to make sure that the black gets down in it. And the way you do that is you first squeeze out a bunch of black. A lot. I'm not worried about wasting. It's gonna get used. But the secret is you have to use a very wet brush. Don't dry your brush off. Take your brush out of the water, put it in the paint, get some paint, and start going to town. Now, it's very possible I may have to do a second coat because the watering down of your brush does thin the paint a little bit. But what it does is it gets it down in those. I'm wearing my good shoes. Holy cow, I can't believe I did that. I'm not going barefooted. You guys got me self-conscious about that now. And that's on you. All right. So if I get paint on my shoes, I'm blaming you guys. Blaming you. All right. So here's the thing. The pink will show up really obvious when you miss a spot, especially when you're going black on pink. I've noticed that if I used to paint some foam white, and you will miss some because there might get a couple little bits of down in something, but it's so like very light pink right here on the camera. You can see it's definitely lighter than the darker pink. If you use white, it's hard to tell when you've missed a spot. So I highly recommend black paint over pink foam. Now, I don't use the blue stuff from Home Depot, and I say that, okay, because there may come a day when I have to switch over to that, because I have gone into Home Depot and they were out of, say, the 1-inch foam. But luckily at this point, not luckily, it just works out that I've never used the blue stuff. So some of you may know or may not, I don't know, whether black paint on blue foam is better or some other color like gray. Oh, hey, I got a bunch of people on here. Let's see, Eric's here. I got this spot that's got 8 minutes and it's not fully painted. Oh, hey, Mac. Welcome, Mac. And Eric Allen's here. You just missed Jim blaming us for the paint he hasn't gotten on his good shoes. I'm serious. I get paint on my shoes. I'm blaming y'all. I'm blaming y'all. So the one good thing about wetting your brush down, like I said, is the black will get down in the holes to a point. And then you'll have to go and look at it nose down or top down, looking down, to see where you have missed. And the good thing about missing is you just get a smaller paintbrush, get it wet, dip it in the black, and just drip it down in there. Now, one thing that this is going to do is this is in my basement, and it's not humid down here, but it's not warm either. We keep it very cool in our basement, or it just stays naturally cool. This will take a day or so to dry. Any of the paint that's down in the recesses is not going to dry quick. So when I'm done painting, this thing hopefully by Thursday will be fully dried, and we can start doing some testing. Speaking of which, Thursday, here's what I plan on doing. I am going to make up some 3-inch, maybe 6-inch by 6-inch. I haven't decided. It'll be 6-inch by 6-inch or 3-inch by 3-inch squares of foam, 1-inch, kind of like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover them in a similar tile texture to this. And I'm going to do like, I think 3 of them. And I'm going to paint them black. So this will be done before Thursday. And the reason I'm doing that is Thursday, I want you guys to help me pin down the color scheme. So typically when I do terrain, everybody has their own like style. Like Jeremy and I are totally different in how we tackle dungeon terrain in terms of painting. But this is a lot of painting. And it's to a point, I'm a little worried that just doing dry gray brushing or dry brushing and then dry brushing white, I think it's going to have too much of it's just going to be washed out. Everything's going to look the same. So my idea is that I want to test some color combinations with you guys live and see what they look like. All these stones, I really seriously think I'm going to have to paint some of them by hand, like unique colors, just so that it doesn't look all gray and black. I just think that's going to have to be the way. Don't be a messy Bessie. Do you have an airbrush? Ron, I do have an airbrush, but I decided against the airbrush for a bunch of reasons. One, I have not used it yet. My wife got it for me for a birthday gift like a year ago. That's horrible. And I've been either too busy to get it out, or honestly, I'm just really nervous about using it. There's a learning curve to it, and I haven't found anything yet that I just haven't made the time to crack it open, and I need to do that because she probably thinks I'm using it all the time, and that's bad. So yeah, I have one. I don't know if it's a good one or a cheap one or whatever. She got it for me, and I never questioned it. And my wife typically does some research before she makes purchases, so I don't know. She may have gotten me a really good one, or she may have gotten me a really cheap one because she wouldn't know if I was going to actually use it or not. And probably being a year going on now, she probably finds out, she'll probably be glad she bought a cheap one if she did. Or she'll be really sad that she bought me an expensive one and it's sitting on the box over there. All right, I tell you what, in front of you guys, I'll make a promise. One of these live sessions, it won't be one of these live crafting sessions. I will do a live session with my patrons called Jim I won't say learn. It'll be called Jim Tackles Airbrushing, or Jim Tries to Airbrush. You guys can laugh all you want, and I'll probably make a mess, and I will probably cry, and because my friends will make fun of me, and I'm just very sensitive. That's a joke for those of you who are watching later. I have no ego. And if I mess up, I go, yeah, I messed up. Oh well. I don't take it personally. All right. Whew, man, this is tiring. The airbrush would be a great way to put some color in it. You know what, Ron? I was thinking about that. You're right. For like little one-offs, it probably could. Put some Three Stooges music on in the background. Ron, I'm going to bump you. I'm going to kick you. I can't make fun of you. I would have no clue how to use. Thank you, Bethany. See, I get some sympathy from Bethany. Awesome. But you guys, in just a second, I'll hold this up and I'll show you. I mean, you'll notice I'm using a very big brush. But because I am using a wet brush, and I need to wet the brush starting not to flow, just dip it in the water and get some paint on it. I'm going to hold this up in just a second and show you that there are very few places that it has not gotten down into, even with this thick brush. I can see a few, and I'm not going to go and try to tackle with this big wet brush. I'm not going to waste paint trying to get inside the grooves. This is just for slapping on the big swashes, and I'll go back later and get in the details. But I want to get at least one half of this done so I can hold it up and show you what it looks like. I just felt paint splatter on my arm. All right, there we go. Got a little bit more paint. When I finish with this paint, I'll hold it up for you guys to see. And like I said, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, the video, this is black paint. I will give folk art full credit. There are a lot of black paints out there that just do not, they are too thin when you spread them out. But when I discovered this folk art black, I was hooked. And then Bethany told me she could get it for me in the bigger bottles because my Michaels, and I've asked, my Michaels will not carry the big bottles. They prefer to sell the little ones. And I get it. It's moneymaker for them. They get people buying 10 of those, instead of one of the bigger bottles. But it's really a pain because for those of us who really craft a lot, the bigger bottles are just much nicer. but I can't get them here, or at least I can't get them at the Michaels nearby. There are like 17 Michaels in Atlanta, and I'm sure one of them probably sells the bigger one, but I'm not willing to drive 30 minutes to hunt it down. And I guess I could call, but I'm also kind of lazy. I'm not going to get on the phone and call and say, do you guys carry the how many ounces is that? 8 ounce bottle of folk art? Because they'll put me on hold, and Michael's is always understaffed. I mean, if you ever go in there like I do, you'll know that they'll have one register open with 7 people in line before they'll open another one. So I'm not really willing to get on the phone and wait for them to hunt it down. All right. A little bit more paint and we'll wrap it up, or I'll show you what I've got so far. Just trying to spread it on. Ooh, and the other thing you'll notice, big gaps. I'm noticing some very, very large gaps that where stones are missing, and that's okay. I'm cool with that. That will give it a more realistic look. All right, I think this is the last big goop of paint that I can grab, and then I'll show it to you. Oh, take a break. All right, so check your comments. I could learn with you. I have had a new one also for a year. Yay, let's do it, Eric. Did you change your shoes? No, I did not. I'm living dangerously. I should have asked Bethany about whether or not ADS has terracotta in that size before I made my last trip to Hobby Lobby. I'm telling you, man, Bethany is an email or a Facebook message away, and she's pretty good about getting you quick responses like I can get that or I can't get that. I just ordered a gallon of tacky glue from her. I mean, I'm laughing because when I think about it, a gallon. What is that? Oh, it's a gallon of tacky glue. I mean, there was a time in my life where I probably could have gone 2 or 3 years and not used half a gallon of tacky glue. And now I'm like, can you get me 2 gallons? No, just 1 for now, Bethany. I'm set for a while, but that'd be helpful to know. I love using my airbrush. I did order 2. Okay. So Bethany has an extra gallon of tacky glue if somebody wants it. Oh my gosh. All right. I think that should be enough for me to hold this up for you. All right. I hope you guys can see this because the glare on it, I know there's a shine to it. There is not a lot. When I get closer, you see some of the pink, some of the blank spots that I missed. Some of them are very small. Some of them are pretty large. But overall, where there is black paint, there is no pink. It is black as black can be. And that, again, is why I chose the folk art and why I set aside 1. I ordered 3 of these from Bethany a long time ago, and I knew one of these was coming up. So I kind of set this one aside about a month ago saying, don't use any more of your black. Okay. Today, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to paint the columns right now. And I want to get the flooring done, and that'll make the columns and this centerpiece really pop out. So let me keep going. And I apologize. I have to keep stopping and checking the comments, which I'm fine to do. You guys just let me slap paint on, and then I'll check to see what y'all are talking about. All right, Bethany, this is down to half. Oh my gosh, I'm going to run out. I am going to run out. Oh, well. All right, a little water on the brush, a little water in the paint. Does anyone else do this? Psychologically, whenever I'm painting something very large like this, I will do 1/2, like that back half, and then I'll flip it around. I'll do this half, and there's something rewarding to me about joining 2 halves together. Is that weird? Yeah. Somebody's going to say they totally get it. Like right now, I'm going to paint this half. And then when I join the 2 halves on the side and paint them, it's sort of like, it's just a nice feeling to visually and mentally. I just feel like I accomplished something. Y'all are laughing at me right now. I know you are. That's why I'm not inviting any of you to come to the screen. Huge piece for us mini painters. It's like painting a barn with a toothbrush. Yeah. Hey, Jedi Jim, welcome. Yes, this when I go into these, I know I sort of like, oh man, the making part is fun, but the painting part, I'm like, ooh, not good. I like doing the most difficult parts first, says Bethany. Yeah, I get it. And Max says he does this too. Yeah. So sort of like meeting in the middle kind of thing. You know, you get one side done, you get the other side done, and then you paint the parts that join them. Hey, Mac, I'm going to call you out on this. Some of your contacts have contacted me and got me their advertisements, but most have not. And the deadline's getting close. I haven't heard from Twisted Guys. I did get Burrows and Badgers. I did get, what was it? Mara? I'll have to go look. But no, I haven't gotten anything else from them. So I'm going to need those ads pretty soon. The reason I need it before August 15th is I've got to go through and check all the hyperlinks. I've got to crunch the file and see how much I can compress it without losing quality of images. And that takes some time. So normally I would say I could give them right up until the 15th, but I really can't. So hopefully maybe you can just put a bug in their ear and say, hey, time's running out. And after this, ads cost money per month. So this is the freebie that I'm giving everybody. And hopefully they'll get their ads in soon. And I guess I'll call out Eric. Come on, Eric. I need the one for your podcast, I think. Yeah, I think I need it. And also I need the one for CoastalCon, the ad for CoastalCon. All right, let me check your comments. I'd be too tempted to dilute that paint down with some water, but that's kind of what Jim's doing with the wet. Mana press, that was it. I thought it was Mara, but it was Mana. Yeah, just dipping the brush, just the first third of the total bristles in water is enough to get get this black paint flowing. The downside is it will take a little while to dry, and I'm okay with that because I've got till Thursday for it to dry. And like I said, Thursday I'm going to work with you guys on the color scheme for the bricks, all the stonework. I've got to get that done. So I'm going to make up some little test squares with this flooring tile pattern here, and hopefully that will allow me to get a good idea of what it's going to look like. I should probably pay my kids like $5. I'll give you $5 to take this small paintbrush and this can of black and just go in and get all the pink. And for every pink I discover when you're done, I subtract 10 cents from your reward. They won't do it. They'll recognize that they're going to do it halfway, and there'll be a lot of pink showing, and they'll end up doing it but not getting any money. My kids are pretty smart that way. They know the risk rewards of my agreements that I make with them. Oh, I'm going to run out of black. Sent messages. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, yeah, you know what, Eric? I apologize. You did. I'm sorry, Eric. You get an apology. You did send me the indie ad. I did. I put it in there. I totally forgot. I did slap it in there. So I'll just get on Mac. Mac hasn't got me the CoastalCon one yet. And AJ has not gotten me his ad yet. Bethany did. Bethany got me hers like within a day or two. See, Bethany, you and I in school, we were the ones that turned in our homework on time, weren't we? I have a feeling that both of us, I know I did. I wasn't like honors grade student, but I did turn in things on time. My wife asked me the other day, she's like, are you still doing that magazine? I was like, Bexham's Bazaar? Yeah. She's like, I thought you stopped. I'm like, no, I just did issue 20. And she asked me, she says, have you missed any? Were any of them delayed because of COVID? I was like, no. I've turned in everyone's been available on the first of the month. I have to admit, I'm pretty pleased with that. It is a lot of work to shoot for a deadline like that. I'm going to jinx myself and say, hopefully I can keep doing. but it's nice to have something that's consistent. All right. Yeah. Can't pass up a good opportunity. I'd rather be 30 minutes early than 1 minute late. Yep. CoastalCon is what I sent a week ago. You should still have the podcast on if you need that. I have the podcast when I don't have the CoastalCon ad. I'll check, Eric. Maybe I missed it, but no, I got the indie podcast ad, but I'll go back through my email. I apologize. I'll look. I was wondering why I got one and not both, so that makes sense that you probably did send both. But I will go look. All right, joining together this one. Oh, I need a wet paintbrush. It's starting to get thick. It won't go down in the. All right, a little water. There we go. Mix it in. All right. Painting is a lonely job. I'm glad y'all joined me for this. I will admit that it can get lonely in the workshop during painting time. And I'm sorry I had to cancel on you guys last night. My wife, we took the boys out Sunday night for, it was so hot. We took them out for ice cream again, and we ended up staying there and sitting outside by ourselves, but we didn't get home until like, I don't know, 9:15 or 9:20. Bethany, thankfully, was kind enough to go, hey, do you have a podcast or a live stream thing? I was like, ooh, I do. I mean, I totally blanked. The Sunday night one is becoming an issue. I may have to change the time on that one. I just haven't figured that out yet, whether I'm going to keep it at Sunday night or move it to a different night. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Is this your paint project for tonight? No, Mac, I should be on tonight. Monday night for yours. Mouth of the South. That's a big mini Mac. Did I miss something? That's a big mini Mac. Oh, this one. Yeah. This one I would have to pay Mac like, $10 when it's completed. A little too much water on that one. Okay, spin. What's so funny is I look at this thing and it looks like it could be, it's foam, but once it's painted, you just don't know. But lifting it, it's like nothing. It just doesn't weigh anything. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight, Mac. I've got some minis a mini. I've got to pick out which one I want to do. I've got a bunch that I want to do, but I try to do one per hour when I go on Mac's show. And it's a good goal. Oh, and Bethany, your package went out today. And yeah, it went out today. And Ron, I think I owe you something like a prize from a long time ago. Shoot me a message and remind me, please. I think I do. Pretty sure I owe you, or maybe Eric Allen. Maybe it's you that I owe that prize to. I'm getting so bad about this. I'm going to catch up on all my giveaways and prizes this week. I'm going to do it, promise. And all the stuff I need to mail y'all. And I just went into I go to the post office and the line is like a mile long because they have like one person. And Eric, I'm not bad mouthing the post service. I'm just saying that's the way it is in my post offices. There's usually just one worker, and another one will come in and be like, "Oh, they're going to open up a second door," and then the first one goes away, and the second one hops in to replace her. And oh well. But anyway, it's just I'm going to stop making excuses now and just get you guys your stuff. I've been so procrastinating because I just don't want to deal with the post office. For those of you watching at a later time, we have a postman on here. That's why I was apologizing. I'm not insulting the post office. Well, maybe I am, but not postmen. They work hard. I'm sure they all work hard, but I'm backpedaling now since I put my foot in my mouth. But But yeah, I get very aggravated when I go in and there's like one person and 20 people in line. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. I think that is it for the flooring, except for, the mist pieces, which I'm not going to deal with right now. Whew. All right, let's take a break. Spin it around. Here you go. I mean, it's getting there. We must get bands of rain this morning. Weather's okay at the moment. I can say they all don't work hard. Eric is the exception. I took the mail carrier's exam once. I did too. I did not know there was a mail carrier exam. Did not know that. All right. Just taking a break. Talking and painting and walking around is tiring. Man, this is a lot to paint. Tell you what I'll do. I'm going to get the brush wet with some black on it and go sideways here. Since I'm looking at it from this angle, I can at least hit the things that my brush can hit from an angle. Yeah, that works pretty good. And then I'll have to come in from the other angle and get the spots that I missed that way. Not bad. That's a smart idea. All right. It's like the ACT, but worse. I got a 95 and never got a call. My dad was a mailman for 30 years. Oh, man. Our mail lady, actually, well, we only had her for like a year. She just left. She was very good. We liked her. She was all smiles. I think she was from Puerto Rico, she told me. Very, very nice. And then one day she was no longer there, and we got a new guy who's also very, very nice. And I saw him drive up, and I walked out because I always walk out to greet the mailman, and because I can see them from my office. And I walked out. It was this new guy, and he's like, "I'm your new mailman," and I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "My name," and I can't remember what his name. This was like a week ago, literally. And he told me his name, and I've forgotten it already, but I'll ask him again a couple times before it like gets locked in. And very nice guy. I will say that I liked him. He was aggressive. He made a point to shake my hand, even though he probably shouldn't have. And handed me my mail instead of shoving it in the box. All right. Mine became a mail carrier after he quit doing taxidermy. Interesting. Jedi Jim, need a big lazy Susan. Seriously. I don't have bad knees, but man, even that, I do have a lazy Susan somewhere. I do have a lazy Susan. Oh my gosh. Jedi Jim, you get some points for that. I have my gigantic lazy Susan that I use for terrain. I use Professor Dungeon Master's idea. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See, these are the things you just don't think about when you're jibber jabbering. All right. Ooh, these are on pretty good. Look at that. I used a lot of tacky glue to secure these. They will probably break off. One of them will break off at some point. I guarantee it. But for right now, everything is on there pretty solid. All right. I'm not painting the stairs because I need to glue something to the sides. We've got a nice lady at the office now. The guy we had before must have been the most miserable person on earth. It is a thankless job. I mean, I think most people, it's kind of like the trash guys. I go out at least once a quarter and give my trash guys like gift cards to fast food restaurants and just tell them lunch is on me today. And because most people, and I used to be this way, when a service is done every day or regularly and it's automatic and you don't have to think about it, we just forget. We don't. And so I try to make it a point to always go and greet my mailman and the trash guys. I always say hi to them in the mornings when I can and let them know, that I'm appreciative. And But yeah, we human, and it's, I'm not critiquing anybody that doesn't do this. It's just our human nature. We forget. We just assume that everybody's doing their job and the world is spinning around perfectly. And sometimes it's a good thing to go tell somebody, "Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate the work you're doing." But my dad is the one that taught me that. My dad knew the name of every person. He worked at a big company. He worked at a company called Monsanto, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. But he didn't do bad stuff, I promise. He was a chemist, but he did good stuff. He did like nylon. That was his specialty. Now he teaches chemistry in college at a local university. But anyway, my dad, I would go out to work with him sometimes, ride up with him. He knew the name of every person in that company. He knew the janitors. He knew everybody. My dad's also the one, my wife makes fun of me for this. We'll go out to a restaurant, and if the waiter or waitress is not wearing a name badge, I'll ask. I'll go, "What's your name?" They'll say, "Oh, John or Mary or whatever." And I'll say, "Oh, okay, thank you." And my dad used to always thank them and call them by name. He said everybody likes to hear their name. And I learned that from my dad. So these days, if we go out to eat, I will always ask the waiter or waitress for their name. And my wife was like, she's just like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Why not? I mean, they're doing me a service. Might as well, at least I could do is call them their name. Hey, you, could I get some more tea?" But yeah, it was one of those things that, and now my wife does it. But when we were first married, she thought it was the funniest thing. She's like, "Why do you always ask the name of the servers?" I'm like, because they're people, and it's nice to know. And she's like, "You'll never see them again." I'm like, "Yeah, probably not, but maybe I will, and maybe next time I'll remember them, and they'll remember me, and maybe they'll ask me for me to be at their table, and we'll get really good service. Who knows?" I don't do it for that reason, but you get the idea. We don't have trash men anymore, just a guy in a truck with a mechanical arm. You could shove some thin rod up through the bottom reinforcement pillars. Yeah, I could do that. Maybe some bamboo skewers. Yeah. I mean, they're on there pretty stinking good. If they break off, I would probably reinforce them with like toothpicks or bamboo skewers. But for right now, I'm going to be the guy hauling it around, so I'll be very careful. And then when you put it on the gaming table, obviously if somebody bumps this with their arm, it could snap it. But you know what? That's just part of our hobby. We don't make most of the stuff we make. We're not making out of cement and steel. We're making it out of paper and foam. So if it breaks, you can't cry too much. You got to kind of let it go and just figure out how to repair. And that's the great thing about foam. It can be repaired and painted over very easily, and mistakes and breaks can be fixed. All right. Need some more water. Doop, boom, 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 boom. I'm definitely not using enough water. I keep forgetting to dip the brush down in there, and because when I do it, I get really good coverage. I'm going to try to make a habit of dipping paint, brush. Yeah, I should have been doing that from the start. For those of you not watching live, off camera, I'm dipping the brush about 1/3 of the way down in a cup of water, and then I get the paint on the brush, and it allows the black paint to get down into the crevices that I can't get with this big fat brush. So let me just show you. Take a thing of water, dip the first third of the brush in there to absorb some water, then just get some paint, and when you slap it down, it will flow. Oh boy, I just noticed it's not much of a gap there. There we go. Just works so much better. All right. And if it waters the black paint down too much, either you're putting too much water on the brush, or you just have to do a second coat. I mean, it's just, this all has been done in under an hour. So if I really feel like I want to do a second coat, I can do it offline with you guys. I don't have to waste your time, and I'll just put a second coat on. But right now, I got to tell you, other than the pink showing through where it didn't get down in the grooves,
This black has lived up to its name, the folk art black. It is not really needing a second coat at all. Check comments. Okay, y'all haven't commented. I hope I didn't lose y'all. And guys, by the way, for those of you who came a little late, I am on Wi-Fi today. For some reason, my fiber box is down. I can't get internet through it, so I'm on Wi-Fi today. So if the video and sound quality is a little bad today, I apologize. Wasn't anything I could do about it. By the time I figured it out that it was not going to get fixed before I went live, it was just too late to come up with another solution or to postpone this. So, and I didn't want to postpone this. I really wanted to get this painted today. All right, let me talk to y'all real quick about where we go next. So obviously everything's got to be painted, but in the original picture, there is this center walkway right here. There's a set of bricks that go from the column to the front of the stairs on the left side and the right side, sort of like a raised set of bricks. And then the walkway is painted like a different color. In the pictures, it was sort of a dark reddish, purplish color. I intend to do that. I do want that color because that color is also going to be painted over the inside seam here, this inner part of the tower, and it's also going to be painted on the insides of the columns here, like right there where you see. This was a test color. I did this pinkish. Actually, it was called. I can't remember what it was called. It looks purple. Hang on, let me get that color for you. Oh, here it is. It was called Purple Topaz. It's one of those treasure gold paints from Plaid. It looked good in the bottle, but then once I put it on the column, I was like, no, I don't like that. So I'm going to come up with a different color for the walkway and the top of the columns and the front of the columns, the arch and the columns here. So going to definitely do that. From here, it looks coppery. Interesting. Okay. There's like nine colors of the treasure gold that at least 9 that I'm aware of. There may be more now, but they are something else. If you remember the 4-level tomb that I made, the Dwarven diorama, that was 2 different colors. One was the blue, and one was the gold, and it was called Fire Topaz, or I think Fire. What is it? Fire Opal. This one. On the camera, it's hard to tell, but man, let me tell you something. In person, this color is unreal. I thought about doing this here, but since I already used this one on the other diorama, I won't be using it on this one. I want them to be definitely different, and also it'll give me a chance to try out some different colors. Get out of the safety zone and try something different. For these large dioramas, I really like to go with eye-catching colors. I mean, just something that, because this is probably going to be something I take to game stores to play, and I just bring it in, and then when I'm done, I just take it out and leave it. I don't have to set it up; it's ready to go. And there's a lot of guys at my game store. The one I go to is I go to different game stores, but the one I'm talking about is Gigabytes in Atlanta. It's actually in Marietta. There is a group of us. I say of us because they're kind of like me. They bring in their own terrain and they set it up. And some of the stuff these guys do, I mean, they'll come over and look at mine. I'll go over and look at theirs. But what's nice is, when you leave, it's yours. You take it with you because you can borrow the terrain that they offer at the store. But it's all generic looking and it's beaten up, and you don't know how many hands have touched it, especially during COVID. They say they clean it, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Don't know. I can hose this down once this is done and I coat it with a Mod Podge, which, oh my gosh, that's going to be a nightmare. I will probably spray it with Lysol after I take it out in the public if I ever do. I mean, I could do that. I don't have to, but will. All right. How are we doing on time? We got 10 minutes. Jim, you should put a coat of Mod Podge on the edge. This all is getting covered with Mod Podge. They make a Mod Podge spray. Yes, they do. And you know what? Now that you mention it, I've got it right. I've got it somewhere. Here it is. This is the gloss. I'm not going to do the gloss version. And I need to do something with my lighting in this thing. I'm going to do the other one, which is the matte. And I know I've got it somewhere, but I'm not finding it right this second. But yes, that is going to be a lifesaver. I may email Shauna and say, what's the largest spray bottle you have? Or what I'll do is buy 2 or 3 of them, pour them into one big, huge pump spray bottle, and just go to town on this thing. I think the Mod Podge spray, it says it takes a while to dry, if I remember right. Where does it say? Allow dry 4 to 24 hours. That's kind of a big gap. Allow dry 1 to 10 days. So yeah, I guess that means you just have to look at it and test it yourself and see if it's dry. But the other thing is, because it's in that pump bottle, it doesn't have the aerosol in it that would melt foam. Not that it would melt this because it's covered in paint, but if you missed any areas, it's possible it could get down in there and damage the foam and weaken wherever you've painted or glued together. So yeah, thanks for the reminder about that. I would have remembered when I got to the Mod Podge step, but man, it's still, I mean, that's going to be a lot of, what I may do is get my boys down here and buy 3 bottles, and we just like, and let them help me get it done. All right. Okay. So I watered that down way too much. I don't know if, yeah, you can see it. See these bricks right here? You can see the pink through them. So that definitely, I watered it down. So all I got to do is take a swipe over it with some fresh paint, and it's done. Oh my gosh. Can you guys tell that it's coming together? It's getting there. Once I come up with a color scheme on Thursday, and like I said, any of you who join me on Thursday at 1 o'clock, I'll have some small squares that are samples of the floor texturing, and I'll have them already painted black. I may have to go find some black, and I'll paint them black, and then we will experiment live with some different dry brushing colors and different schemes to see what looks good. And I'm not completely sold that the floor has to match the floor on the upper level. They could be sort of different styles, and that might work out best because it may make the centerpiece sort of stand out, that it's a little different than the I'm just using whatever extra black I have to paint this black edge here. And then I'm done. I got to take a break and get something to drink. I am so thirsty. All right, last bit of black here. Well, guys, thank y'all for joining me again. If you're watching this at a later time, I have 2 live sessions typically each week, Monday at 1 p.m., Thursdays at 1 p.m. And if either one ever has to get canceled, I typically push it to the next day. So Tuesday for the Monday session, Friday for the Thursday session. And what this does, it allows me to give 2 hours a week of pure patron project for only my patrons. These videos do not get shared with the world. I do put them on YouTube, and you will always be able to watch them later over on the Patreon webpage for the Tabletop Engineer. As a matter of fact, when I get done with this video, I need to upload 10, 11, 12, and 13, or maybe 11, 12, and I'll upload the rest of or I'll catch up to this video right here and have these done by end of the day. So, so for those of you who either want to rewatch them, or for some folks who haven't gotten to watch them yet, they will be able to catch up all the way and be ready for Thursday's session. All right, let me call the camera up here. Yeah. All right, folks, it's a good look for me, right? Farmer Jim. I always feel like a yeah. my wife, when I put this, she bought this for me. When I put this on, she laughed. I'm like, you bought it for me, and now you're laughing. She's like, don't ever wear overalls. I'm like, okay. I think it's because I'm from the South, and she knows that, and she just doesn't want me to add to the overall Southern charm, I guess, that some of the clothes. Anyway, but I'm blabbing. All right, folks, there you go. 1 hour and almost, I would say that's probably what, 75% painted. You know, the flooring is most of it, and maybe 70%. So almost done. So maybe another hour. It will take me at least another hour and a half to paint the remainder. So here again is where I ask for your permission. For those of you watching not live, a lot of times what I do is I'll do something once, like this column. I'll make a column, and then I ask my live patrons, are you okay if I do the other 3 off camera and not live, because it's the project down. So what I'm going to ask you guys is, and I think I know the answer is, are you okay with letting me finish the painting of all of it? Maybe not the stairs, offline instead of Thursday doing it. I could probably finish this on Thursday, all the painting, if you guys really wanted to see that. Otherwise, I'll paint this between now and Thursday, and I will have those little tile sets made so that we can try out some color schemes for the flooring. And then Thursday, I'll let you guys decide if you want, once we pick a color scheme, I'll let y'all decide whether you want me to do the color scheme live or off camera. So be your call. Let me check your comments. Eric says that'll get us closer to the dry brush. Bethany says go for it. Knock it out, says Jedi Jim. Yes, says Ron. Yes, says Brian. All right, Eric. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get to say bye to Eric. Eric had to go. All right. So yeah. So I'll get the rest of this painted. Most of it. Probably won't do the stairs. I'll get the tiles painted, and then Thursday at 1, join me, and we'll come up with the alternate color scheme. Man, this thing is wrapping up. It's coming. I've already got an idea for the next one. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's something I wanted to do for a long time, and we'll do it in the same format. It'll be a 30-inch by 30-inch diorama, mostly foam, probably some chipboard, and it won't be real tall. It's going to be, not as tall as the other one, and hopefully it'll go just as quick as this one, because there are repeatable things in it. So we'll just say that. We'll just repeat that. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining me. Everybody who joined me live, thank you. And I will see all of you on Thursday. I am hungry, thirsty, and tired. So I'm going to go take a break. Y'all have a great Monday, and I'll see everybody on Thursday, okay? Take care. Bye.